And hello everybody, welcome back to British Stan. We have some breaking news for you. 5 days after the knife attack, of course, in Amsterdam, in the same place. Yes, we're back to Dam Square in Amsterdam as a deliberate car explosion has occurred on the square. We have got video footage that we're going to be going through. We're going to be going through the police statements, and as stated, this was deliberate. They've actually came out and stated this. So let's go through what we currently know. But as always, guys, you do make these live chats, so do get involved in the live chat. We'll be bringing up your reaction a little bit later on. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and let's go through what has happened at Dam Square this time in Amsterdam. A car exploded in central Amsterdam with the driver suspected of having caused the fire on purpose. Dam Square in the centre of the Dutch capital was closed to pedestrians and traffic while emergency services attended the scene near the city's war memorial. It comes a week after a mass stabbing close to the square in which 5 people were attacked, 4 of them currently still remain in hospital. A man believed to be the driver was spotted on fire next to the vehicle. We'll be getting into that footage momentarily. Officers from the city's police force said the driver appears to have started the fire deliberately and that he was injured in the blaze. Police said camera footage had shown that the fire was caused by an explosion which happened among a crowd of people on the busy square. Images, of course, on social media show a man with burning clothes close to a small red car with flames lashing out of the windows on Dam Square. Police are seen extinguishing the flames on the visibly wounded man before taking him into custody. Officers said it was sealed off large parts of the square as explosive experts were investigating the car. The Dutch Military Explosive Ordnance Disposal Service was sent to the busy square. A spokesman said the dam will therefore remain largely closed off for the time being. An employee in a local shop around the area suspects that it was a suicide attack. She told the Telegraph that a car drove onto the city's war memorial before smoke emerged from the vehicle. She added then he got out of the car. He was already completely on fire. He had done this himself. You don't get such a big fire from a cigarette falling into the car. It was really very intense to see. And another eyewitness has added it sounded like an implosion, not a firework bang, a kind of underwater bang, unable to place but enough to scare. Very dull. Everyone started running, including me. Now lastly, a shop security guard who was at the scene said he set himself on fire. I saw him get out of the car on fire. His pants were hanging around his ankles. He was stumbling around in his underpants. The fire brigade extinguished him. He was then taken away in an ambulance. So that's currently what we know. As stated, guys, this is a breaking news story, so we haven't got the full scale of it, but police do believe, of course, that it was a deliberate act from this individual. Now, of course, YouTube is YouTube, and I can't show the footage. I mean, there's plenty of the footage currently going around on social media of the individual actually on fire. Obviously, for obvious reasons, I can't show that, but I can show the moment that the individual drove his car onto Dam Square, where you see the car start to be set alight. So let's go through that footage. So there you go, guys. As you can see, I can't show the full footage of that video, but the individual then rolls out of the car on a blaze and people start to extinguish him. He's cutting around in his underpants on fire. You can see that for yourself in the footage that is currently circulating on social media. But as you can see at the start of that footage, guys, it's it looks like a botched attempt in terms of an explosion. You can see the car, it's put into a perfect position onto Dam Square. It's put there, and then of course you can see, as someone described, a bit of an implosion. People heard a loud sound. And I'm just going to show you the footage again, just the start of it. Just be wary, just watch, and you will see the car sort of explode ever so slightly, but not enough to actually entirely put the car ablaze at that time. But have a watch of this again quickly. As stated, literally wait for it to stop, the car to stop, and then you're going to see the moment now. Watch. Bang. Boom. You just see that there, the bird's flying. And then that's when it goes on a blaze. But as stated, a deliberate act, the police are stating, and as you can see, it's not a cigarette or a lighter as such with inside the car. There's some sort of an explosion that's going on inside the car that you can see for yourself. Absolutely horrific. Don't know what's going on in Amsterdam at this moment in time. Of course, the knife attack caused chaos in that same very square in the center of the city. And now you've got an individual trying to set his car ablaze and probably cause terror. But again, we won't know the full scale of the story till a little bit later on, but police have confirmed it was a deliberate act. Now guys, as always, I'm going to go over to the live chat, take your response, take your reaction to this, of course. So do let me know what you're thinking down there in the comment section below. Let's go through what people are saying. Ryan says he blew himself up, question mark. Well, it looks like he certainly tried to. Now, again, you've got to forgive me. I can't show the full scale of the footage. I like to try and push the boundaries a little bit. However, putting a guy that's burning on fire onto YouTube is not going to do any credibility to my actual channel. And it will probably, well, it would most definitely then get removed pretty soon after. But what you can see is after that video, the individual then rolls out of the car on fire. So he then is extinguished. He's coming about in his underpants on fire. You can see it in the images. You can see it in the video circulating on X at this moment in time, just walking around. So what I would probably suspect is that it's a failed sort of suicide attempt in terms of a suicide bomb. You see the explosion within inside the car, but wasn't enough to necessarily set the car boom like that. You know, what probably was the intention to do so, because what else is he doing? There's an explosive device by the looks of things inside the car and then comes out on fire. I mean, that's probably his natural reaction because he probably wasn't expecting to be ablaze at that time. It looks like a bit of a botch, but again, I can only speculate, but you can see for the footage yourself on what has gone on there with regard to that explosion. But absolutely sickening to see, and of course, another incident, another attack, another thing happening in Dam Square in Amsterdam 5 days after that lunatic cutting around with a knife. Patty says, if he's in his 50s, usually men are older. They do this after a divorce. Younger guys usually do it for religious reasons. Just my guess. I mean, it does look like an older guy, to be fair. Albert says, I'm going there next weekend. There's been a few things like this happening there recently, and it's putting me off big time. Just keep your due diligence in the area. Of course, my goodness me, Amsterdam is a lovely city. It's a place that is relatively safe, but as stated, it's one of those things that it's modern day Europe. You've always got to keep your wits about you, not necessarily just in Amsterdam, but throughout Europe in general. Just always be alert and expect the unexpected, because it's happening very, very recently, very, very religiously now, actually is, these things. I mean, just look at the live streams that we've covered so far on this channel. There's always something in Europe once a week, something like this, that's happening across the continent, which is scary, scary times. Mike says, if you ever come to Vienna, don't ever leave the tourist areas. I mean, Vienna is one of those places that's had its fair share of incidents recently as well. But I love the city, actually, Vienna. It was a lovely city. I spent a bit of time there in the summer, actually. Daz says, looks like he just got fired shortly after the small explosion. Well, it certainly looks botched. I mean, in what way, in any way, by the way, does an individual go to the most busiest part of Amsterdam, parks his car there, and then suddenly an explosion happens with inside his car? It almost looks like an implosion rather than an explosion. And then the individual sat ablaze. And police have stated that it's deliberate. So, I mean, there's quite a lot of things that do you sort of go on the checklist. But as always, guys, I do have my duty to tell you that it's not necessarily been confirmed as anything as of yet. All we know is that it is deliberate. And the military, the Dutch military, were there investigating the situation as well. But yeah, no, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. I don't know why Amsterdam, or I probably do. I mean, it's a tourist hotspot, of course. But yeah, been targeted quite a lot recently, Amsterdam. As stated, the knife attack as well. I mean, I haven't seen the latest updates with regards to the knife attack, of course, that occurred in the same place. I'm actually just going to have a little look to see if there was an update. I know a British guy was the man of the moment, of course, tackled the individual down to the ground before the authorities arrived. But I just want to have a little look quickly because I haven't actually dug into it since then. But there we go, actually, from Fox News. Amsterdam knife attacker who injured 2 Americans suspected of having a terrorist motive, prosecutors say. So that's been fairly quiet in the British media. That's probably why I've not seen anything. But that was from Fox News, by the way, in terms of a follow-up. And the individual apparently the suspect was identified as a 30-year-old Ukrainian national. So, yeah, terrorist motive, it was saying. So, yeah. Wow. See, they kept that very, very quiet, didn't they? The mainstream media in the UK. Never seen an update. Never seen an update. You always have to go far and wide to try and find these updates. They like to report on the stabbing. They like to report on the sort of cover-ups, if you like. But when actually you do get something of real substance in terms of an update, they never really give you it. So there you go. That knife attack that occurred in the same place 5 days ago, a man who stabbed 5 people in Amsterdam, including 2 Americans, likely had a terrorist motive, Dutch prosecutors announced on Tuesday. So 2 days ago that was announced. So there you go. A little bit of an update from the last incident, or the last attack, of course, in Amsterdam at the same place. But guys, I'm not going to keep you here any longer. Do let me know your thoughts on this one down there in the comment section below. What do you make of this? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take